charge to keep. I have a God to glorify, a never dying soul to save, and fitted for the sky. To fulfill, oh, may it all my powers engage to do my master's will. On me with jealous care, as in my sight to live, and all thy servant count to give.
Rio Hondo Prep football is one of the best kept secrets in all of Southern California. As one of the smallest enrollments year in and year out, the Cares have won 16 CIF championships and have been one of the most successful programs throughout their history. Welcome to A Charge to Keep, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep football. And now, bringing you the latest news and content from his alma mater, a CIF champion in 2001 from the class of 2003. Here's your host, Matt Hersema.
What is up, Rio Hondo Prep football fans? Welcome to week 9, and what a week it is. The Rio Hondo Prep Cares take their undefeated 8-0 record to SoFi Stadium, the eighth wonder of the world in Inglewood, California, where they will face the Brentwood Eagles, who are 6-2. Their league rivals. The Eagles have had some success over the Cares over the years, most recently in back-to-back wins in 2022, 2023. The Eagles have a 7-5 record, I believe, overall against Rio Hondo Prep. So what a week it is. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I got to tell you, as a lifelong Los Angeles Rams fan, it is just I'm chomping at the bit here. I'm so excited about this game to be at SoFi Stadium. Once upon a time, I had the privilege of officiating a CIF championship game at Anaheim Stadium, where I grew up watching Rams games as a kid with my dad, who had season tickets. Learned to love a bad team, a team that never really did much or loved me back. But you know what? That's just what fandom is like, the loyalty of it all, right? Rooting for a city, rooting for a team from, your city or surrounding area. I know that's foreign to some people, but for me, it matters a great deal. So to be on that field on Saturday afternoon, Saturday early evening, will be more of an honor than I could express. And to see my Rio Hondo Prep Cares on that field is just going to be really, really cool, as well as the Brentwood Eagles coming out of West Los Angeles, the short drive over there to Inglewood to get on the great surface of SoFi Stadium that is the home of the 2022 Super Bowl champion LA Rams. Super Bowl 56, that was. It will be Super Bowl 61, the host of that in a couple of years here in 2027. So the LA Olympics, or the Olympics hosted in LA here very shortly. I mean, there's a lot of great things that are occurring at SoFi Stadium and have in the past, but make no mistake about it, for this week, the biggest game is definitely Rio Hondo Prep against Brentwood. And that's not to take anything away from this Thursday night on Amazon Prime. The Vikings at the Chargers. Big game there by national television, of course. There's some other games before us, most notably Diamond Ranch and West Covina, followed by Harvard Westlake and Crespi on Saturday. But I got to tell you, again, as a Rams fan, to see Rio Hondo Prep there in Inglewood, the city of champions, as it has come to be known, to be there at SoFi Stadium, I mean, man, my heart is full. It's full already, and hopefully the Cares could pull out a win. But they're up against a very tough opponent in the Brentwood Eagles, who again have had the Cares number over the years. They are coached by Jake Ford, who has had Rio's number. He's found a way to consistently compete against Rio, even if he's not getting W's, although he's had plenty of W's. He has found kind of the formula, and we saw this maybe a little bit in Coach Chris Smoke at Pasadena Poly when they had kind of their runs over Rio. Rio Hondo generally with common opponents, they're able to be on the bigger side of the scoreboard more often than not. But Brentwood has kind of been that one school that's like, man, why can't they get over the hump on these guys? What's the deal? What's the formula? So I thought, well, here in October, the baseball playoff season that it is. Let's go into the opposing dugout, if you will, and see what's going on over there. So we're gonna have on the show today Coach Jake Ford from Brentwood High School, who was willing to come on the show after I asked him. Was very excited about it, and again, I've brought on many coaches on this show, most notably in the season opener, the Sure Spartans. Coach Montoya came on. I've had, Coach Rand Holdren from Maranatha before. I've had the Texas coach, from First Baptist Academy a few weeks ago. And I know our fans love this stuff when I bring an opposing coach on because you get that outside in perspective and it just spices the game up a little bit more, even, when we're going into a game against an opponent. It's fun to get those recap games, right? When you hear from, the MLK coach in the summer about last year's playoff games, but there's something about the buildup that when you talk to the opposing coach, right? No bad blood, all respect here on the Charge to Keep podcast. You get to hear from them. Maybe their fan base tunes into the Charge to Keep podcast a little bit. And man, it's a great way on a Wednesday, I think, when I will release this, that it gets everyone a little fired up, a little juiced up, and hopefully the music there got you going as well. Thank you to Mr. Ragosa who kind of sent me that direction with some music stuff going on. And again, we're gonna try a few different things here on the podcast, right? Trial and error here as always, but man, the Brentwood Eagles and the Rio Hondo Prep Cares at SoFi Stadium. Are you kidding me? Where else would you rather be on a Saturday afternoon? I'm sure you guys got some, big time college teams you follow. I do know Game 2 of the World Series will be going on that evening as well. Maybe, likely, as I sit right now, it may be in Los Angeles. I'm watching the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays for transparency reasons in Game 7 here in the bottom of the 7th as the Blue Jays lead the Mariners 4-3. So I don't know what's going to happen. You guys will hear this on Wednesday, but in real time, that's what I'm doing right here on the podcast, talking to you guys and watching some good baseball here to my right. So we'll talk to Coach Ford and hear what he has to maybe say about Dodger baseball, or maybe I don't know much about him, honestly. I've known that Coach Carson has had high praise for him, and I very much look forward to talking to him at some point here on the podcast. And when I found out we were playing at SoFi against Brentwood, I texted him. I said, "Hey, Coach, listen, the Charge to Keep podcast, it would be an honor to have you on to promote this game and for two great programs in the small schools, whatever you want to call us, to get this thing on the map." And Coach Ford immediately responded. He was all about it. And I applaud these coaches who they get these messages from someone they've never heard of. It's Matt Hersema on the Charge to Keep. What is that? And most of the time they know what we're about, and they know that, we're not looking for any strategies or anything. We just want to kind of have a conversation, promote the game, and be inspired to maybe root for someone who's not us, the other 9 weeks of the season plus the playoffs. So Brentwood has done great things over the years. When they were kind of on a streak of beating us a few years back, they had quarterback Boone Lord, who is now at University of Virginia, playing in the ACC against Ryan McCullough, who is our guy at Cal Berkeley, and maybe they'll square off next year. I know Ryan's been out for the year this season with an injury, and maybe Boone Lord will get some more action. Maybe Coach Ford will fill us in on kind of where he's at in his college career, but it would be really cool, I think, next year. Virginia versus Cal, if they play in the ACC, Boone Lord against Ryan McCullough, who gets the better of who there? That'd be a lot of fun to watch on the great networks out there for college football. So a lot of great things to get to this week. Not just high school football related, but man, we are in week 9, guys. I know I told you in August, that time was going to fly by, and all of a sudden you blink and it's Halloween, right? And that's just kind of how high school football goes. And I hope hopefully you've put out your decorations and you're ready for a November run. But as I've mentioned to the Care fans out there, there's no guarantees. November, hopefully the playoffs and could be one and done, could be four straight wins, maybe six straight. I don't know. We don't know what is in store for us, and so all we can focus on right now is Rio Hondo Prep against Brentwood one more time. Although this Gold Coast League has kind of been anticlimactic in a way with the shrunken field of only three teams with us two and Brentwood, or excuse me, and Viewpoint. There's still something to be said about this game where I think even if Rio Hondo and Brentwood were not to be in the same league in future years, I think this would be a great rivalry to continue. Much like Rio and Pauley was for a lot of years, I think Pauley's kind of gone a different direction where they maybe, well, I'll just say it, they don't take football seriously. Brentwood, on the other hand, does take football very seriously. So I'm excited to hear from Coach Ford, to hear about his program, maybe where he's come from, and just to see how Brentwood has able to, we're not going to, again, take any trade secrets or anything, but I want to hear kind of from Coach Ford and how he gets his guys ready to play Rio Hondo, because we hear other schools talk about it, right? I want to, we're ready to play Rio. Oh, the 60, yeah, we're fired up. We're ready to go. And then, they're just not. People talk about it or be about it. And I think Brentwood is someone that has always been about it. Even some of our better teams that we've gotten, the 2021 team comes to mind. Great team, a great non-championship team, we'll say, that went out to Brentwood, I remember, and beat those guys. And it wasn't easy. And so Brentwood, for whatever reason, is able to, I don't know, neutralize Rio, we'll say. Was the 2023 season where they blew out Rio at home. I remember that game vividly, and it was just kind of a wake-up call to that team that then went on to win a CIF championship. But this game is very big every year. I haven't talked to Coach Carson about this, but I would love to see this tradition continue no matter which direction each team goes as far as their league play goes. I think it's kind of a rivalry renewed in a sense. They used to play an 8-man and all that. I remember playing baseball games against Brentwood, and it's just, I don't know, the small private school battle that is the Eagles and the Cares, I think is one that should keep going. And Brentwood has been successful again. Their success stands alone. Again, we have our great history and success, but the Brentwood Eagles have been traditionally consistent, and I very much appreciate that about them in all that they do. So we are going to hear from Coach Ford now. I will come back at the end of our interview and talk a little bit about maybe some of their players, although in talking to the opposing coach, we might end up doing that anyway, so maybe there won't be a need for it, but just who's kind of leading the way for them, and a little scouting report. And then, of course, the explanation point where I bring out a rules or, just officiating topic. As the former official that I am, I like to kind of cover those things. But SoFi Stadium, man, Saturday afternoon. I already, it's Monday, and I already have had trouble sleeping just in thinking about this game and being excited about it. And I got there very early on Friday at Viewpoint. I can promise you this, I'll be very, very, very early at SoFi Stadium on Saturday afternoon, even if they won't let us in. And again, I don't know all the moving parts and everything. I will try to communicate that to everyone on social media and the likes there, just so that our fans are informed. But for now, as I record this on Monday evening, watching the Jays and Mariners, talking to Coach Ford, just excited about playing on the hallowed ground of SoFi Stadium here on Saturday, October 25th for Week 9, the 6-2 Eagles against the 8-0 Cares. It's going to be so much fun. I hope you enjoy this interview. I know that I will, and we'll get fired up a little bit more for the big game in Inglewood this Saturday. All right, let's bring him on. The head coach of the Brentwood Eagles, Coach Jake Ford. All right, for Week 9, we have another very special guest here on the Charge to Keep podcast. We are joined by the head coach of Brentwood High School, Jake Ford, who has his Eagles at 6-2. He's beaten Rio a few times in recent years, kind of has our number, although we got him last year. Coach Ford, welcome to the Charge to Keep podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm more than excited to be here. To be invited by you guys is flattering for sure.
Well, coach, I reach out to various coaches here and there about, hey, I remember doing it the first time, man. Will the other coach talk to me? And you just get a random text from some
Yeah.
guy say, hey, I'm on the podcast or whatever. So I appreciate your just openness to doing this because I don't know, most people have, but you seem rather enthusiastic about coming on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rivalry. This is a game that's important for both schools and for both communities. And why not promote it and talk about it?
No doubt about that. Well, coach, I mentioned last year's game. The 2 years prior to that, you had this guy named Boone Lord who was just tearing
Mm,
us up.
mm.
So glad to see you guys hand him a diploma off to graduation. He's now at Virginia, thankfully. So, how's Boone Lord doing? Lord doing there over 3,000 miles away at Virginia?
He says that he's enjoying it. He and I text frequently. He says he's having a great time. He is QB3 roughly on the depth chart right now. Week one, they played Coastal Carolina. He actually got some time in the game, so that was really exciting for him. And he's a hard worker, and I think if he sticks with it, he'll be able to compete for that QB1 spot maybe a year or two down the road. They did get two transfers in this past summer, and that's always tricky at the D1 level. But he's grinding for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'm so happy to see. I mean, I wish him nothing but the best. I'm happy to see him way far away
Thank you.
from Rio Hondo Prep because he tore us apart for a couple years there, coach. And, we got a guy in the
You miss
ACC
him.
as well. Ryan, oh, I bet you miss him. Yeah, who could not? We got a guy at Ryan McCullough at Cal Berkeley who's out for this year, but I don't know. Maybe next year their paths will cross. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Rio versus Brentwood at the college level.
That would be very cool. I'm hoping that it happens. I'm really hoping it happens.
Coach Ford, again, you've been at Brentwood a while now. If you could fill us in on how long you've been at Rio, or not at Rio, how long you've been at Brentwood, and maybe how you found
Mhm.
Brentwood or Brentwood found you.
So, well, I've been at Brentwood. This is my 12th year at Brentwood. Prior to that, so it's kind of a long story. I started coaching when I was still in college, and I started my coaching career at Santa Monica High School as a JV coach, JV head coach. Was there for 4 years, then went to grad school and kind of had to quit coaching for a little while. Then when I started back in the workforce, I had the itch. I had to get back into coaching. But the only thing I could do at that point was some Pop Warner stuff. So I was doing some Santa Monica Pop Warner for a little while. And I ran into a man who was a PE teacher at Brentwood. And he said, we're starting a middle school team here at Brentwood. I've seen you coach my son here. Are you interested in coaching at Brentwood? I was like, well, I'm kind of loyal to Santa Monica. I don't want to do that. He said, oh, but we'll pay you at Brentwood. I was like, well, of course I will take that job. And so I was coaching middle school at Brentwood for 6 years, 7 years, 6 years. And then the head coach at Brentwood, the varsity head coach, retired. He had been there for 35 years. He was the only football coach that Brentwood ever had. His name was Pat Brown. Pat Brown retired, and they were looking for a head coach. And I did have some high school experience and always wanted to kind of move up to that level. I applied, won the job, which was awesome. And at the same time, there was a teaching position open. So I kind of moved in kind of at both levels, both at coaching and teaching, in 2014 and have been there ever since. And I love where I am right now. I feel like I'm surrounded by good people. They really take care of us. They feel like football is important. Athletics are important to Brentwood, and we are supported by administration, by families. We have great kids. Yes, we do. It's a smaller school. We have 600 students, not as small as your school, but 600 students, 300 boys. So sometimes it's hard to field more than 50 kids in a program. But I've been there 12 years, and we've had some success, and I really love where I am. It's a
Well,
great
I
place
have
to
to
be.
applaud you and your program because again, you said people who take football seriously, and you guys absolutely do. You play tackle football in junior high, which is a big deal. Not enough schools do that, in my opinion. I think you see real benefits from that. And as someone who literally coached the junior high program, now the varsity program, I mean, what could you speak on, Coach, about that? How important it is to have a junior high program that does affect, your varsity program later on?
Mhm. Mhm. First of all, anybody that's coached football, youth football, or high school football knows that the toughest part to teach is the physical aspect of the game, is the tackling, the blocking and tackling, and teaching kids to be okay with that. When you get new ninth graders who have never played football before, they're always kind of a year behind because they have to learn the physical part of the game and learn that it's okay to go full speed and you're going to be okay. Yeah, it may hurt every now and then, but you're going to be okay. When you have kids that have done that in seventh and eighth grade, they are so far ready, so far advanced by the time they get to ninth grade. You can do there's so much more that you can do with them. So that's number one. Number one, just learning the physical part of the game. Secondly, being in our program, running virtually the same schemes, both offensively and defensively, that we run. They learn the terminology and the basics before they even get to us. So we don't have to start all over again when they're ninth graders. And it has shown that the kids that have really done well for us, that have been all league players, all CIF players, all came through our middle school system, junior high system. Boone Lord played middle school football for us, right? His younger brother, his older brother Cole Lord, who played at Texas, came through our system as well. So I think it really benefits us like it benefits you guys. I know that you guys run the same system, so you can if you can build on more concepts as you get older, you're ahead of the game for sure.
Oh, no doubt about it. You're preaching the choir over here, and getting to play. It sounds like you've been playing against Rio Hondo a long time now, so you see the middle school stuff, and so as it trickles up, and you kind of
Hmm.
strategy wise, it's kind of like you know each other so well when you
Hmm.
start playing each other in junior high, the lower level, and then
Right,
varsity.
right, right. Exactly.
Wow. Wow. So that's really cool, Coach Ford. And you talked a little bit about your background as far as coaching goes and everything, the itch that just it never goes away. I hear
Yeah,
you there.
it doesn't
Um,
go away.
where did you grow up, Coach? Did you play ball? Did you kind of get invested in coach? What kind of brought you into coaching?
So I grew up in Denver, Colorado, played Pop Warner, played high school football, was only recruited by some small schools, Occidental being one of them, but I kind of wanted to go to a big school. Actually got accepted to UCLA, went to UCLA in, so entered UCLA in 1989, walked on the football team and that winter, because at UCLA back then, the walk-on tryouts were in the winter quarter. So I walked on the team, made the team in that winter, played throughout the rest of that year. Would be my second year of school. It's kind of a walk-on practice dummy, getting beat up every day of practice. Then decided maybe I didn't have much of a future in this. I mean, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, and I didn't run a 4.340, so decided football probably wasn't in my future as a player. I will say that is probably the hardest decision I've ever made in my entire life, walking away from football.
Mm,
And part of me regrets it to this day. It does. I
mm.
didn't, I was 19 years old. I didn't have anybody telling me you really need to just suck it up and give it another year. Things might turn around for you. Uh, so I made a 19-year-old decision and walked away after that first year. Uh, Within a year, I was like, I can't be away from this sport. Found a local Pop Warner that needed some coaches, and then have just been involved ever since.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
I mean,
There's Go ahead, Coach.
if you want to be honest, I like teaching. I really enjoy teaching. I'm a teacher and a counselor at the school as well. I love doing those things, but I do those things so that I can coach.
You're an honest man. I appreciate that. Hey,
Yes.
I look at I there were dreams of me and Coach Carson coaching together someday. And
Mhm.
we talked about it for a long time. And you know what? We didn't know exactly what we had. And sometimes things work out a little different, but exactly how they're supposed
Yeah.
to. Like Coach and I do this podcast now, and it sounds like I don't know. Has coaching been way more fulfilling as a player, or was your playing days kind of like, all everything back then?
I feel like I get what I was missing as a player, I am getting as a coach. So it is fulfilling to the highest level. Almost
Fantastic.
sometimes almost too much. Like I sometimes during the season I'd be like, okay, slow down, right? There's more to life than this, right?
No, hey, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, you gotta take a breather, take a step back sometimes. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is fantastic. Coach, let's talk about Rio Hondo, and
Hmm.
you've coached against Rio a long time. Have had great success. Um, I don't want to take any X's and O's from you, but just what is the mentality? How do you get your guys mentally ready for the Rio Hondo week? Because you really seem to have your guys ready. There's plenty of schools again that talk about it. They talk about toughness
Yeah.
or this and that. Talk about
Yeah.
Rio Hondo, but
Yeah.
they're not about it. You guys have clearly been about it for the good part of a decade or so.
Facing Rio Hondo is a different animal. And you can't go into my feelings, you can't go into this game with the ego that we are just bigger, faster, and stronger. I think that's what a lot of teams think. Oh, we're just bigger and faster and we have more guys, so we'll just overwhelm them. I don't think, and then they get there, they show up and they get smacked. uh, you have to go in kind of humble and say, look, they are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to run their offense, and they are so incredibly disciplined and precise, and the kids all buy in 100%. We cannot think that we can just do whatever we want with them. We have to scheme for them specifically. You have to, I think you have to alter your, especially defensively, you have to alter your plan. And um, in in the recent history, you guys have run the ball unbelievably well. And so, you have to be willing to sell out and stop the run. So when it comes to motivating the guys, we just tell them that for you, some of you guys, this week is going to be a totally different ball game. Like you normally play, whatever, let's say outside linebacker, right, or strong safety. Well, this week, you're a defensive end. You know what I mean? Because if we want to be successful, we have to we have to dedicate ourselves to this. It is not going to be pretty defensively for us. You guys, we need to fly around. And the problem when you face Rio is either you take risks and you blitz and you get yourself out of position and you give up a score for 70 yards. Or you sit back and try and read, and then by the time you've read the play, they're already on you, overwhelming you, and you're on skates. So you kind of got to play between, you got to play it back and forth. Um, I think offensively we feel like when we are playing Rio, we have to be super, super, super aggressive in order to keep up. When you play teams like Rio, you have to keep up. If you get into you could get into the matching scores game with Rio, but then they tie the score, but then they can go for two, and they're going to get it most times. So now you're chasing, right? It's psychotic preparing for you guys, but it's fun, and we really are impressed by everything that Coach Carson has put together there, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you there, Coach. Yeah, we are. I guess you have to sum us up. We're just different. We are different with everything we do.
Yep,
2025, today's game is spread them out,
yep,
4 or 5 wide,
yep.
maybe some gun run stuff, but I don't know what could just the uniqueness of Rio to see what
Mhm.
Rio does in 2025. It's not a wing tee. It's not an
Not a
option
double
offense.
wing, right? Mm-mm.
No, it's something different that you can't
Yeah.
really put. But again, you guys have had success at times with it, and it's just something different that you just can't really describe.
I mean, we do spend a lot of time during the week, and luckily we had a bye week this week. We spend a lot of time trying to mimic your offense in practice so that we can defend it, right? And it doesn't always work sometimes. And schools like us, our scout team is made up of like third string wide receivers and a backup tight end. You know, it's like guys playing line that don't normally play line. Uh, but we try to keep it as simple as possible for our defense. Don't overthink it. And just understand that if they get rolling, like if they get moving and they get downfield on you, it is a wave. There's a wave of
Mhm.
seven, eight guys in your face, and you have to kind of avoid getting in that position. Um, yeah, we've had some good players. I think part of it is good players too.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Boone Lord year and his junior and senior year, we had some really good players, and so we were able to kind of match scores with you guys, and then we had some good receivers, so we could kind of extend a lead a little bit there. But the last 2 years, it's a whole different story.
Well, I will say back in 2023, that was our first loss of the season, and it wasn't just a loss. I mean, you guys took it to us. Rio loses, they don't get blown out ever, and you guys blew Rio out a few years ago. It was honestly a huge eye opener for us, and really set the tone for the rest of the way for us.
Yeah, you guys
So
went
that,
all the way to the finals, right? You
yeah,
won the CIF that year.
yeah, no,
Yes.
2023 for sure, beating
Yes.
Santa Monica
Right.
down in those
Right.
parts.
Yep.
Had we not had that game, had we not had that, not just losing, but get blown out that way, I don't know how that team would have responded. So I do know too, the Brentwood environment down there on a Friday night, not only the traffic you're dealing with, but a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
I like the venue. I will say maybe a little bigger visiting bleacher
I
coach.
agree. I
That's my
agree.
only knock.
That's
But
VA land. There's only so much I can do right now.
yeah, I hear you. How much of that is? How much of that? I know. UCLA's baseball field, is any of that
Yeah.
affecting your campus?
So yeah, all of that, all of the kind of the lawsuit that's been going on, everything that you have seen that includes all of the athletic fields are on VA land right now. And so we're in the middle of a
Wow.
lawsuit trying to figure out, like we have an agreement, but there are some advocates for the VA who say that they think that land should be used differently.
Mm.
So it's actually the VA is on our side. The VA wants to continue to have that land because they get to use it too. There's a workout area, tennis courts, pool that we allow them to use, but the advocates want it for housing. So that's
Mm.
where we are right now. Yeah,
Interesting. Well, we'll see how it plays out. I do. Jackie Robinson Stadium there in
yeah.
UCLA. Love that field, and your campus is beautiful
Thank you.
by all means. But if you have to have an alternate venue, we'll say SoFi Stadium isn't too bad, Coach. Talk
Not
to me
bad.
about how did this all come about? I know for us, we're like, oh, we don't got to go to Brentwood on a Friday night. That's cool. So how did this all come out, and you and Coach Carson working this out?
My athletic director reached out to me actually a couple weeks earlier. We were playing Grace Brethren
Ooh.
the week before. We were going to play Grace Brethren that week, and she reached out to me and said she's been contacted by the people that are running these games at SoFi Stadium and asked if we wanted to play there. And it would have been a 3 day turnaround trying to get all of the logistics. So we said no, great, maybe we'll do it next year. So we told them no. And then a couple days later, they called us back and asked if there was a game further down the line that we would be interested in. And we said, we'd love to play Rio there. That would be cool. I mean, I think, yes, we're giving up a home game, but it's still an experience we'll never forget, right? And to play Rio and probably for the league title, right? That would be awesome. So I reached out to Coach Carson, and I thought he might kind of balk at it. He jumped on it right away. I said, Coach, I texted him. I said, do you think you'd want to do that? He's like, absolutely. I was like, oh, okay. Surprised me. So we are doing it, and there's a lot of logistics to work around. We have to bring our own down markers and our own chains. And there's certain things we can do and can't do, but still think it's going to be an unbelievable experience for these kids.
Yeah, yeah. All the obstacles, or the parking, the prices of things.
Yes,
I
the
mean, to
prices, yes.
man, hey, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and
Yep.
our guys have played in Texas. They played in the state championship.
Yeah.
They've done all this, but to play at SoFi, the eighth wonder of the world. I mean, lifelong Rams fan here.
Yeah.
To go into Inglewood, I'm like, oh, we have to do this. So
For
I, I
sure.
just I'm at a loss for words about that. You mentioned Coach Carson, Coach
Mhm.
Ford. If you could talk about your relationship there, is it, you guys competed many years. He has nothing but high praise for you, and I don't know. It's kind of a unique experience, right? When someone you have great respect for, but you love competing against.
Yeah. Um, I, I met Coach Carson several years ago when when we renewed, when Rio joined back into or joined the Gold Coast League. And right away, I could tell he was a good guy, and he ran a really tight ship and a good program. And when you see that that makes you respect somebody right away. And he was always nice and reached out to me, and we would text back and forth throughout the year, not just during the season, talking about our league and teams we need to add and teams what we're thinking. Um, and the way that I'm sorry, when you watch Rio play, and when you watch them walk into a stadium, when you listen to their fans, when you see how respectful those kids are. I mean, you guys you lost one game last year, right? To Torrance High. Was that the only game? And then the final game, right?
Mhm.
And then this year you haven't lost. I mean, you guys could walk around feeling pretty good about yourself. It doesn't come across that way. The guys are all pretty humble. This is a rivalry in that both the teams have had some success, but it is not a bitter rivalry where you see guys fighting or pushing or stuff before the games. And so I really like what we've built, and I hope that this just continues for as long as we can, you know?
Coach, what do you think of this? I mean, the Gold Coast League. I don't know what the future is for it.
Yeah.
Viewpoint and the two of us are the only two, team. I personally would like us to play teams in the San Gabriel Valley, but that's just me. So I don't know what the future holds, but I do think the way this rivalry's gone the past few years, I think this is a game. No matter where each school goes, we go our separate ways. I think we need to find a way to keep this rivalry going because I think it benefits both schools.
I do too. And I think I 100% agree with you. It's again, it's a school, it's a program you can count on to be respectful, to be solid, to have it two levels, to have kids that are playing good, clean, well-disciplined football. That's what you want as a coach. Those are teams that you want to play. It just helps both teams get better. And I think because of our success, it would be great to continue to play each other. And if we're back and forth on winning and losing each year or every couple of years, that makes it better. I mean and we are small privates, and the small privates need to kind of stick together and help each other out as much as possible.
Yeah, and on that point, kind of scheduling. Scheduling is tough. It is for us.
Mhm.
You're in the
Mhm.
same boat. You want to schedule good opponents. You want to schedule some public schools. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. How do you find that balance? Because I think you guys are almost in the exact same position we are, where scheduling is tough right now because schools out there are like, yeah, we'll play you, and then oh, we won't play you, and then
Yeah.
do you want to play them? How do you balance all that?
It is hard. I have felt like it's important to challenge yourself in the preseason. So I enjoy trying to schedule three or four big public schools every year. The problem with that is that you sometimes in any given year that public school may have an influx of 10 unbelievable football players, right? And you end up running into a buzzsaw. A team that has 80 guys on the sideline and 300 pounders across the board on the line. And so that's the risk that you take by playing the publics sometimes. But I still think it's a good prep for the playoffs for us, even if we take a loss, right? Because you're going to play schools like that in the playoffs. So finding and usually I haven't had a hard time with the bigger public schools scheduling because I think they see us and think, oh yeah, okay, we can handle them. And I like turning that around on them. It's some of the privates are hard, I think, because they are in the same boat as us. And if you've had some success like you guys have, they don't want to take losses where they don't have to, right?
Yeah.
Schools are like, well, if we play Rio week 3, we're going to lose 47-7. And I don't know if I want to do that, you know? Especially schools that are kind of mid-level. Uh, they don't want to. They see a Rio 105, 110 students. For some schools, they might feel like we should never lose to a school like that, and so they don't want to schedule you, right? They're afraid to schedule you. So it is hard to schedule. It definitely is. I have found that staying local is a little easier. So the schools in our area, so we play Palisades every year, and that's a big rivalry for us because a lot of the kids know each other. Those schools seem to be more willing to do that. I know Santa Monica has wanted to do that. We haven't been able to do that. St. Monica's is another school we're gonna try and schedule with. I think it's easier to keep it if you keep it local. Those schools at least know each other. You can schedule better. Um, but yeah, it is tricky. And if we, being in a 3-team league like we are in right now, you need 8 non-league games.
Yeah, that's a
Good
lot.
luck scheduling 8 non-league games. That's a
No,
lot.
it really is. And I mean, again, I don't want to break any news or anything, but just, I don't know if you could, your thoughts, share as much as you like, but just as far as the future, maybe the Gold Coast League,
Yeah.
do you try to stay with 4 teams? Do you maybe try to bump it or look elsewhere? I mean, again, it just feel as much as you want to share on that
I
subject.
mean, I think there are two schools of thought. One is try and find a school that would be willing to join, a school similar to ours. Um, the problem is, I think wherever that school is now, I think that league would have to agree to release them for them to join our league. And um, and you're looking around, there aren't any unattached schools right now. And the schools that might be good fits, I'll just throw some out. Maybe a LaSalle, maybe a Harvard Westlake. Schools like that might be a good fit. I think they are really happy in their leagues. And uh, I don't know that they want to leave, you know? And then the
Yeah.
other school of thought is we try to join another league, either as a group or individually. And you guys, I imagine, let's say you try to join a league in the San Gabriel Valley, like the league that South Pasadena's in, whatever that league is, you know.
Mhm.
They see you and they're like, "Oh my goodness, you know, we would, you know, would we all take losses bringing Rio into this league, you know?" So I would imagine that would be a hard sell. Um, I think on a different scale, not, us too, but it's hard to find leagues that are looking for another team. If you go from 4 teams to 5 teams, you don't necessarily get another playoff spot. If you go from 5 to 6, then you get your third playoff spot. So you got to find the league that would
Yeah.
benefit. So you've got to benefit them for some reason, you know. Uh, I think we're looking at both avenues right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's very well said. I mean, I asked the question because you guys are very unique and similar situation that we're always kind of this team without a home, kind of
Hmm.
looking for a playground to play in, if you will. And coach, just personally, would you ever consider being the small private school? Would you ever consider being in a league with a majority public school or kind of mixed?
Yes. I mean, to be honest, I would take anything at this point because I am really afraid of what could happen next year if we don't have a league, right?
Yeah.
So I'd be open to that. If there was a 6-team league and we got a shot at 1, 2, or 3, for sure, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Wow. Well, it sounds similar to over here, without speaking
Yeah.
for anybody, but I think it's again a similar situation, big time. So on that note, coach, I want to talk about the CIF. format, how it's kind of been the past few years. I'm not sure what divisions you guys have fallen into, but
Mhm, mhm.
now that you've been in it a few years, it's worked out for us. We've had to climb some mountains, but we've gotten over them finally.
Yeah.
Just this new CIF format, competitive equity, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of how it affects everybody.
I mean, I think the way that the landscape of football in Southern California, I don't know that there's a better option, a better way to do it. Previously, when you were divisioned before your season, based on the last 2 years' performance, you could have had a great senior class graduate. So now that they've bumped you up 3 divisions, but now you have all ninth graders and 10th graders, so you're
Yeah.
not anywhere near that good. Um, so I think that was a flawed system. I think this system works. I will say there's a lot. If you really look at it, the way that the first week, the original rankings has a huge part to do with kind of where you end up. So where you're ranked before the season, really, I mean, you can move up. You guys have moved up a significant amount of points or rankings, but I still think like if you're ranked high, you're going to stay pretty high, regardless of you can be 0 and 7 and you're still going to be pretty high. I like it because I think we've been divisioned in close to the right spot. We've been when Boone was a senior, we were Division 8. We've been Division 9 and Division 10. So I think that's our sweet spot. I think that's where we belong in 8, 9, or 10 there. Um, and I think that's worked out. We've had success. We've won the first round of the playoffs the last 2 years, which is good, but we're ready to take that next step for sure. The games have been close. As far as we're concerned, I think it's been a good thing. I do.
Yeah, Division 8, 9, 10 actually sounds pretty good, Coach.
Yeah.
With our with
Division
our seven
5.
with our 71 boys we have, that sounds about right for us too. But
Hmm.
when you go to Division 7 and you win the
Yeah.
whole thing, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's a good problem to have. It just seems so crazy with
Yeah.
14 11-man divisions. Real Hondo
Yeah.
Prep with 70 boys is
Yeah.
potentially going to be in Division 5. I mean, it's pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. I think that there could be they could put caps on like
Yes.
floors and ceilings on how
Yes.
far a team can move each year. That I think that would kind of help things a little bit. You can move up 2 or down 2, but no more than that in any single year. Um, Maybe that would help some of
Yeah.
these situations for sure.
They're tweaking it as best they can for sure.
And I will say the problem with this system is it rewards poor performance non-league. So
Thank you.
if you had like our league, there are 3 teams. You play 2 league games. You could essentially go 2 and 8, right, and play in Division 13 and r run through, right? Uh, because you'd get into the play. If you win our league, you get into the playoffs. Uh, I I'm not saying that teams do that, but it should not drop teams so much. Like if you're 0 and 7, but then you're 3 and 0 in league, you get into the playoffs at a low division where you really don't belong in that low division, because you're typically a Division 6 team, but you've lost 7 games.
Yeah.
You're now a Division 10 team. I don't think you're a Division 10 team. You just lost 7 games against other Division 6 teams.
Well, I know these are hypothetical things you're throwing out, but honestly, they are really happening. You're looking at how teams are scheduling. You're looking at teams that are traditionally Division 2 or 3 sliding to Division 5 or 6. They win a championship. They don't have a great non-league season, and so it's happening. People can ignore it, but I mean, we played Warren last year in the championship game. They're a Division 3 type school, and
Right,
have their bumps and bruises. And I know we beat them, but it was
right,
it took our
right.
very best efforts. So anyway, it's an imperfect system. I think we both agree on that. But
Yes.
Maybe there's
Yeah.
not a better one. I don't know. Coach Ford, let's talk
Right.
about your
Right.
football team, if we could. 6-2 on the season.
Hmm.
Looking at your schedule, a rather a tough schedule. You lost a close one in your opener to Monrovia, just down the street from us. We've always wanted a shot at them. And Palisade, you mentioned your rival, a tough two-score loss to them. Other than that, you guys have really kind
Frozen.
of blown through it. If you could just talk to me about your schedule and those 8 games and kind of what it's been like for you guys.
So we started the season at Monrovia, which was an unbelievably exciting game. Went down to the last like 30 seconds. They beat us 42-38, but it was back and forth, back and forth. They were a good team, good offensive team. Unfortunately, their quarterback went down with a torn ACL a couple of weeks
Mm.
ago, and so that has completely changed their season. They were undefeated before that. We had Wainimi, who wasn't not as strong a team, and we kind of were successful there. We played Palisades, who is our rival, which I talked about before. They're a big public school here close to us, and that was another really exciting game. They ended up pulling it out at the end, and then we've won four straight since then. And I would say in pre-scheduling these games ahead of time, thinking that some of them would offer a little more resistance for us. But you never know. Every year, kids change, kids move out, things change, coaches change, all of those things happen. So we ended up uh, having an easier time with the last four teams than we anticipated. So we're looking forward to the challenge that Rio brings for sure.
Well, it's definitely going to be a two-way street there. You guys are putting up, 40, 49, 35, 33 points the past 4 games. I know we're scoring as well. Coach, I don't know where you find these guys, but somehow, some way, kind of a quarterback factory over there in West Los Angeles at Brentwood. Talk to me about your junior quarterback and kind of what he means to your team, and just kind of Ben McHale. Is that how you say his
Mhm.
name? He seems to be
Yes.
doing great things.
Yes, Ben McHale is kind of the next good Brentwood quarterback. I've been so blessed to have a string of good quarterbacks come through. He came through our middle school system as well, played middle school for us. As a ninth grader, he played JV because Boone was our varsity starter. And then after that, he was a 10th grade starter. Ben has grown a ton in the last 2 years. He is incredibly smart, throws a really good ball. Not as mobile as Boone was, but definitely makes the reads. Is really diligent about making the reads that we talk to him. There are different pass concepts. He's good about making the reads. Throws throws the intermediate and short game really well. And he's got the offense down. Like he has full command of the offense. We will run in practice. Sometimes we'll practice our 2 minute drive, 2 minute drill, and he's got full command of the offense, which is really good. It's nice to see. He's done a good job for us. He works hard. He has aspirations of playing at the next level. We'll see. We'll take it slow, but we'll see what happens.
Well, he's got a good coach in his corner, who's coached some great ones before him. 24
Thank you.
touchdowns on the season in 8 games, 5 interceptions, but has thrown for nearly 2,000 yards, 237 a game, it looks like here on Max Prep. So, man, I don't know where you find these guys, but, you asked that question jokingly today, but as you just mentioned, our junior high program, and I don't know how many schools could say that in this
Right.
crazy transfer age we're in, Coach. I don't know how many transfer you guys typically get. We hardly get any. What would you speak to the kind of the environment, I guess, on where kids kind of move around a lot now in 2025 and just
Hmm.
kind of the high
Hmm.
school ranks, and I don't know, it seems like a different world almost.
It is a different world, and it's sad. It's sad. If you, I think it's sad. There's the loyalty part of it. I guess maybe I'm old, but the loyalty part of it is gone from a lot of that, from a lot of football, high school football, going to school and playing with friends that you grew up with. A lot of that is gone. If you're a really good Pop Warner football player, you're going to get plucked out of your neighborhood and pulled to a school because they want you to play football there. And then if you're not a starter as a freshman, you're upset, and then so you're going to transfer to another school. Um, luckily at Brentwood, we have had some real loyalty here. I think there's a couple reasons for it. The middle school program, I think, helps build some camaraderie among the guys. So they really like playing together and don't feel a need to go other places. I think the success that Boone Lord had and his brother Cole Lord and some of the other kids we've had go to Ivies and some other colleges makes them feel like, okay, well, I don't have to go to, Notre Dame to be to be able to go play in college. I can actually do it here. And I also think that the culture of Brentwood, not just the football, but the culture of Brentwood makes people feel really at home.
Mm.
I mean, it's a high academic school, yes. So there's that part of it. Most of our kids are going to go to big time 4-year universities, right? Actually, all of them are going to do that. And Brentwood is really good about helping them reach that level. And I think that because we have that, and that is there, most of our kids are not thinking about playing college football. Most of them are thinking about the academic part of life. And so that part is the priority. And so being at a good school with rigorous academics and with athletics that are important, our place is kind of that perfect spot for them. Uh, we've lost some kids, yes, in the past. Um, we don't get transfers rarely. I We got one transfer last year from Windward School. No, yeah, Windward School, who dropped its football program, So we don't really get any transfers either. Once in a while, but not saying that we wouldn't take them, but we just
Yeah,
don't.
no, I hear you there. Hey, we're always trying to pitch to Rio. Hey, it's a different school. Come out,
Yeah.
take it all in. But yeah, it's just weird. I mean, we're playing. Kids go to 4 different high schools now, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
there's really something about development with your friends, and you see it on your end. I know it's on our
Yeah.
end. Kind of following up on that. If you could talk to us about maybe the history of Brentwood High School itself, and maybe the football program, things you knew maybe before going in, because this
Mhm.
rivalry coach goes back to the 8-man football days.
Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't know that.
yeah, I mean, long time ago.
Yeah. So Brentwood was established in 1972, and it was just a high school back then. We're actually K through 12 now, but it was just a high school then, and they started with 8-man football, and a guy by the name of Pat Brown was their first football coach, and he coached football there for 35 years.
Wow.
There have only been two varsity football coaches at Brentwood, Pat Brown and me, which is kind of cool. Um, and I think we transitioned to 11 man in 98, something like that, 98, 99, and have had some good success at the small
Mhm.
school level from that point. Uh, we are we grew from we were a school of about 400 students in the high school until about 4 years ago. We expanded to 600.
Wow.
So 300 boys, 300 girls. And we are, a high academic and we do, it's Brentwood.
Yeah.
So
No, no,
there's
I know.
there's there's wealth there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think we do a really good job. We scholarship some students too, so we find students who from disadvantaged areas who can come, who we scholarship in to Brentwood as well. Not athletes, unfortunately, but um, and so we do a good job. I think we do a good job kind of building a nice community.
Yeah, I mean, every time you go over there, you're like, man, this is so nice. This is a great campus, great school, great area.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, it's pretty nice over here. It's how do you motivate kids to get out of the football field? As a matter of fact, coach, 300 boys. Do you have to go into classrooms and drag guys out? How many of these 300 boys come out for football?
So we have this year we have 46. So typically we're about 15% of the boys will play football.
Okay, okay.
So do I drag them out? No, but I do because I teach and I'm a counselor. I talk to them all the time. And if there's a boy that looks like he should be playing, I will approach him. I don't know, not always successful, but yes, we got the problem is, we run two levels and uh, the JV team typically is like 22 guys, right? On the JV team, barely keeping it together. Uh, it's hard with a small school. And like you're right, at a school like that where there are lots of other things for these kids to get into, to be
Yeah.
positively and negatively, but there's other
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
for them to do and lots of other areas for them to be involved. And we have a strong basketball program, right? We have a strong baseball program. So some of our athletes play those sports as well. I always am trying to pull guys, right? Some of our best
Yeah.
players have been basketball players that made the switch.
Of course. Hey
Yeah,
man, throw
so
the helmet on. It's a fun. I can't imagine not playing sports in high school,
yeah,
multiple sports. I don't know what you
yeah.
do with your time, but yeah, coach, what you mentioned teaching? What is it you teach, and do you kind of bring that football coach mentality to the classroom?
So I teach a class called Foundations. So it's a ninth. Well, I teach two classes. Foundations is a ninth grade class, so all ninth graders have to take this class. It's I guess it's the private school version of health class, right? So it's drug ed, sex ed, like mental health, identity. We do financial literacy, things like that. We have an
Wow.
AI lesson, AI unit. So we do a lot of that. It's not graded, but I actually really enjoy teaching that. I get to meet a lot of kids that aren't just football players, and it's what I really enjoy the fact that I can meet kids that are into robotics or girls, right? That are not obviously not football players. So. Um, I really enjoy spending that time out. It takes me away from coaching, gets me a little break from
Yeah.
that. And I'm a counselor as well. And that's sort of like a mental health counselor. So if kids
Hmm.
are struggling, they can come see me and we can kind of figure out ways to help them. I will say that that is the area that sometimes the coach on the field cannot be
Hmm.
the same person that the counselor is in the office, right?
Yeah.
Because there are times, when when you're on the field and you have to motivate guys, right? And you have to say things. You need to man up, or you need to be tougher, things like that. When
Yeah.
in the counseling office, like I'm not going to say that to someone, not in that
No.
way, right? Uh,
Come on,
so,
it's
but
third and two. I need you with me. Yeah.
totally. So there is a little bit of a shifting of roles throughout the day, but I
I
think
got you.
it's cool to do that.
That is very unique. I gotta say, we hear a lot about coaches who teach other classes. That I'll call it the life class you teach, whatever it
Yeah,
is. That sounds very beneficial than
yeah.
mental health counselor and football. I was gonna ask you if kind of one helps the other, but it sounds like you do a good job of separating those
I
roles.
do. Although sometimes you have. So there are three of us counselors at the school, and so the
Okay.
football kids, if they're struggling with something, they typically will not come see me, just because I think that dual role feels weird to them. They'll go to the other counselors, which I get, totally get, you know. Uh, but it's a good time. I feel like I get to have a good connection with lots of kids, which is cool.
That's really interesting. That sounds man. I can't even I can't even begin to say that's it. It says a lot too about how you got even if you're not talking with them in that way, it seems like you get a lot of insight into
Yes,
the young minds. We'll say
yes,
that you're dealing with.
yes,
So
yes.
uh, great stuff there. Coach, we'll let you get out of here soon. I just want to ask you about your football, maybe your coaching philosophies,
Mhm.
maybe a theme for your team, for Coach Carson and the Rio football program. BTD, brotherhood, toughness, and discipline. Kind of that's something that is at the forefront of everything. But if you had to sum up kind of your coaching philosophy, your approach, what would it be?
I mean, I think the most important thing that I try to instill into them is that football is a delayed gratification sport, and
Mm,
you get most joy out of seeing your brothers, your teammates do well. It is one thing for you to celebrate yourself, but it is so much more fulfilling to celebrate others' success,
mm,
right? And so when you see your friend make a tackle for loss and you celebrate that with him. That is the joy we're looking for here. And so there's that. There's being selfless, number one, and number two, being accountable, right? So everything you do, once you join the football team, everything you do, even off the field, in some way will affect this football team, even if you
Mhm.
don't think it will. So you go and you are, you're in class and you get yourself in trouble, or you uh, you brought your cell phone out in class. So now you have a detention, and detention is on a Saturday. And maybe we had a lift on a Saturday, and now you can't be there. And because you can't be there, you're not getting stronger, and you not getting stronger is hurting us, right? So kind of making them always think before you act, right? And so everything you do affects us.
It's hey, if you take football out of it, that's just a great message
Yeah.
overall, no matter what,
Mhm.
you know. So
Mhm.
that is fantastic, Coach. I've had my it's not like I was a Brentwood fan before, but I never rooted against you guys. I can promise you this, I'll never root against you guys now. I mean, after having a conversation,
Thank you,
well,
Coach. Thank you.
maybe Saturday around 4:30. But
Maybe
other than that,
Saturday.
Coach, yeah, yeah. Other than
Right.
week 9 here,
Right.
once a year. Well, I
Right.
hope you go 9-1 every year, Coach. But no,
You too.
this has. Thank you. God bless you. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope it really does fire up the fan bases because
Me too.
you say modern day Bosco, you say Warren and Downey, you say
Hmm.
Muir Pasadena. I think this really is one of the great rivalries in
Yeah.
Southern California that not many people know about. So I'll just give you your final thoughts on the big game at SoFi, the rivalry that is Brentwood against Rio Hondo Prep.
One of the things that Coach Carson told me last year, he was like last year he and his staff were going through their history of games and he said Brentwood is the only team that we have a losing record against in history.
Yes.
And that was last year. So now it's at least as far as I've played you guys 5 times. We're 3-2. Well, we'll see how Saturday goes. But I like that he was looking that up. That he kind of wanted to make sure that I knew that, and we can keep that rivalry going. And I look forward to a great game. I think it will be fun. We're going to give you guys everything we got. I'm hoping that's enough. And we'll see.
We will see. It's going to be fun. I can't think of a better way for Rio. I mean, when I heard Rio gets to play at SoFi and it was like, oh, it's against Brentwood, I said, yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
Mhm.
That game needs to be played there.
Mhm.
Our SoFi game needs to be that. Coach Ford, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to shake your hand Saturday, sir.
Thank you.
And yeah, God bless you. The football program. Thanks for all you do. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to your school, your program for taking football seriously because not everyone does.
I agree. Yeah, it is my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Well, Coach Jake Ford of the Brentwood Eagles bringing it here on the Charge to Keep podcast. I've actually wanted to talk with Coach Ford a long time, and somehow it just hadn't happened in the past, and things just lined up perfectly here. So the Brentwood Eagles coming to SoFi, a Brentwood home game, Rio Hondo Prep. Again, he has the edge on Rio. Not many schools do. So I hope you guys are fired up for this. You go in with the right mentality. I know we've played some schools in the this season that it's kind of like, yeah, we're going to try to be. This is the game of the year, and I know we've had Sure in the opener, which was a lot of buildup. We had the Texas game against First Baptist Academy, the defending state champs. That was a lot of buildup. This is the game. This is the game every year, and you guys know what it felt last year going into this game with Brentwood having won two of the last two in back-to-back years, as well as three of the last four. Brentwood's the real deal. You can see it right there talking to their coach. He's got their guys ready to go. Again, I mean this sincerely. They take football seriously. Not everyone does, and I'm not afraid to knock on those programs that don't. The pretenders out there, the Brentwood Eagles are not pretenders. So, Rio Hondo Prep, the football players, you better bring your lunch pail. You better strap up and be ready for a hard fought football game because you're going to get that from the Brentwood Eagles at SoFi Stadium. If you don't think for a second if they're not motivated to take on Rio in SoFi Stadium, just like the Rio Hondo fan base is and the players and the coaches. You got another thing coming. So be ready for this one. This is a playoff atmosphere. It is technically a playoff game. The winner is guaranteed a playoff spot. The loser is not. So you can gripe and complain about all that, but that's the way things go. So we don't do that. We show up, we strap up, and we play football. So we already talked about Coach Ford's team a little bit right there, so I won't get too much more into it. You guys know the Brentwood Eagles are who they are. They're 6-2. Two losses are to Monrovia, close game, and Palisades, their rivals. They've beaten Grace Brethren. They've beaten Don Lugo. They've beaten some good teams, and you can look at their schedule on Max Preps to confirm all that. But this is a team that is 6-2 and has probably played the best overall schedule of the teams we have seen so far. They've beaten Oak Park by 20 points. They beat Grace Brethren by 33. Rosamond 49-21. Don Lugo 35-0. And not too long ago, Centennial, not Corona Centennial, of course, but let's see, Compton Centennial. They beat them in a blowout fashion as well. So this team is riding high. They're clicking, and not only that, as Coach mentioned, they had a bye last week, so 2 weeks to prepare for Rio Hondo. If you don't think that's a thing, you haven't been paying attention. So I hope you guys are ready for this. Again, I haven't heard a ton of particulars regarding SoFi Stadium, just that you got to get there early. There is a 1 o'clock game before us. They're going to clear the stadium. From my understanding, they're going to clear the stadium. So you will be waiting outside in a line. So again, get there early. I can't stress that enough. Saturday afternoon. I don't know how long it'll be, but 1 o'clock kickoff. They'll probably game 3:30, I'm guessing, 3:20 maybe. They clear everyone out of there. You guys are lined up. You're going in one at a time. You do the math on this, right? I have no control over this. Rio Hondo has no control over this. This is the company, the production promotion group that is putting this on. Someone said you got to sign something. I don't even know what that means, but again, I can't ask for your patience enough on this. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for the kids, for the both schools. Let's all be patient and make the most of it. I posted a few things on social media about kind of some other people's attitudes and kind of their experiences. So again, just be patient. Parking costs a lot. The tickets cost a lot. And I applaud each and every fan, alumni, parents, all of you out there that are putting out a lot of money for this, because yes, it is a costly experience, and one that hopefully is priceless, after it's all said and done. So I'll be there early myself. We'll see what happens. If I'm able to find my way in with, I don't know. Again, there's so much uncertainty with it. Just get there, have a good attitude, and let's get seated and cheer on the Eagles and D-Cares in the 2025 Week 9 clash here at SoFi Stadium. I cannot wait for it. It's Monday as I record this, and I'm just I'm having trouble sleeping, honestly. I mean, I got my Rams, I got other things going on, but Rio Hondo at SoFi Stadium, that's just like next level, and I just can't wait for it. So hopefully a playoff atmosphere, if you will, get us ready for the postseason if we are fortunate enough to qualify. And again, more topics later on, but Brentwood against Rio Hondo at SoFi Stadium. I shouldn't have to say any more than that. Coach Ford, what a guy. And you can tell why Brentwood is as successful as they are and doing really great things. For our explanation point this week, I just want to mention, we talked about last week's game at Viewpoint, and 17 Rio Hondo penalties. 17, guys. I know we don't always agree with the officials' calls. I certainly don't. There wasn't really a lot out there that I disagreed with. I mean, when you're going offside, when you are on the clap cannons, you're surprised by that. That just can't happen. And we kind of talked about all that. But I guess in the explanation point today, it's if there are tough penalties, a tough pass interference when you grab a guy. Okay, fine, that saved a touchdown or whatever. Maybe a hold here and there. But the self-inflicted stuff, the delay of games, the false starts, the offside, the turnovers too, but that's not an officiating thing. Whoever in this game has more self-inflicted wounds, that who I think is going to have a tougher time winning the ball game. And that's just common sense, really. But if Rio Hondo is penalized anywhere near 17 times and their opponent is penalized 3 times this weekend at SoFi against the Brentwood Eagles, Rio Hondo is going to get blown out. I'll tell you right now. So the margin for error is a big deal. Sometimes, it's a game of inches. That ball doesn't move very, very quick, right? Sometimes it's a battle of attrition at times. But as far as kind of the rules and explanation goes, I just want the Cares to remember that, when the offense is up there, I don't think this has happened, of course, but when the offense is up there, they can clap and hard count, and Rio Hondo will shift sometimes into a position. I'm not ruining anything. You just got to be aware at short yardage situations that it goes as simple as watching the football, right? But all this other movement, all this other motion and shifts and all those things, those can affect your assignment and your focus. And I know it's easier said than done. We're dealing with 15, 16, 17-year-olds out there. But just as a reminder, defensively, with all these things going on, the defense cannot do anything as far to the offense, such as calling out hut hut, or even if you call out a shift in kind of a synchronization of the snap, or simulating snap counts, or the defense is clapping, the quarterback's allowed to, right? If you trouble in that regard, you're going to have to deal with the reactions of the officials and kind of their interpretation of things. So I guess the moral of the story is you got to block out the distractions. You can't look too much at the SoFi Stadium stands and the jumbotron that's not going to be on or whatever. You can't be distracted by claps, guys, when they're under center or they're in shotgun. And as far as offensively, you got to do your part too. And I know there's a lot of moving parts. There is. Where you get up, you got snap counts, you got blocking assignments, you got the play call, audibles, you got all these things. But ultimately, football comes down to blocking out the noise, settling down, taking that deep breath, and running your play as perfect as you can, offensively or defensively. And Brentwood's going to do the same. So Rio Hondo and Brentwood, I think, are two very disciplined teams. You shouldn't see a lot of penalties from these guys, but I do think penalties will come into play here. We know Brentwood puts the ball in the air a little bit, so maybe we see. And again, this is another thing. We're in this age of instant replay, and is this little tug? Is this little that? Is that a foul? Technicalities, right? Sometimes you got to, in the baseball mode of things, sometimes you got to feel out the strike zone, right? We don't have the imaginary box lit up on television. And sometimes you need to feel out how the game's going to be called. And, our fans will yell, oh, they need to flag them also, or call it both ways. Sometimes both teams don't commit penalties the same ways, right? Brentwood throws the ball a lot more, so we got to be more careful about hands and grabbing receivers. We run the ball a lot more, so we got to be more, aware that our blocks are good. We're not reaching for people. We're not taking guys to the ground. It may not be a hold. It's what it looks like, right? More often than not, and you're dealing with older men generally, me, myself, one being 40 years old now, but older officials who are, the game's going fast, and it's not always what happens. It's sometimes what it looks like. So don't leave judgment up to the officials' eyes if you can manage that. And there are plenty of things you can control, much like the snap count, getting the playoff on time, those types of things, because leave the judgment up to the many other plays out there that will in fact determine this football game. All right. That's my explanation point for the game. Not necessarily anything specific this week as far as the rules or officiating, analysis goes, but just kind of some thoughts on just the game and how we respond and how we carry ourselves. Remember, it's not what it is all the time. It's what it looks like. And so every action has a reaction, all those types of things. So anyway, Coach Ford, can't thank him enough for coming on the podcast today. We'll see you nice and early on Saturday at SoFi Stadium, the Palace at SoFi in Inglewood, the Palace in Inglewood. So many great memories and events there for Laker basketball, for me and my Rams. Just Super Bowl 56 a few years ago, Super Bowl 61. Thursday night football this week, the Vikings at Chargers. 2 days later, it's Brentwood and Rio Hondo. It's crazy to think about, but it's real, it's happening, and it's here. So we never thought Rio would play some of these teams. We never thought Rio would go out of state to play. Well, all these things have happened now, and Brentwood and Rio under the lights, there'll be lights, I guess, at SoFi Stadium. 4:30 kickoff. Be there early. Can't say it enough, so that you can breathe deeply, calmly about all the things going on, the lines, and who knows what else. So thank you all for your support of the podcast and for your support of Rio Hondo Prep and Brentwood Athletics. And to those from Brentwood that have tuned in, I should have said this earlier, but just want to say thank you for listening to our episode here and for tuning in. You have a great coach and nothing but respect for the Brentwood Eagles. Great catching up with him and everyone else out there. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you Saturday at SoFi. It feels so good to say. And we'll have a post-game show for you at some point on Sunday, recapping all the action from the game there in Inglewood as the 8-0 Rio Hondo Prep Cares take on the 6-2 Brentwood Eagles for another edition of Brentwood and Rio Hondo. And for those Brentwood fans who are tuning in today, hey, if the game works out for you, or even if it doesn't, I would love to have you back on listening to the recap show on Sunday at some point. And tell a friend, help spread the word, help us grow our podcast as we promote you guys and small school football and great high school football in Southern California in general. All right, thanks again, everyone. That's it for today's pregame show. We will see you at SoFi Stadium. And for the Rio Hondo Prep football fans, as your friendly reminder, to always be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, because we always have a charge to keep.
A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never dying soul to save, and fitted for the sky. To serve the present age, my calling to fulfill. Oh, may it all my powers engage to do my master's will. Army with jealous care, as in thy sight to live, and know thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give. Help me to watch and pray, and on thyself rely. Assured if I my trust betray, I shall forever die.